Player housing in the World of Warcraft is going to be blockbuster. To start, let me introduce you to the Blizzard art team, one of the most talented group of artists in all of gaming, and the worlds that they create, even to this day, are some of the most amazing worlds in all of gaming. Hell, just look at the concept art for this housing article right here. Are you kidding me? Just looking at all this stuff, I mean, we got houses on the hill next to waterfalls. We got a little griffin nest. This guy's got a door open. These people are coming in with their goodies to say hi and spend some time in your house. I mean, this is an exciting time and an exciting technology coming to World of Warcraft. I think a lot of you might have missed the greater implications here, but this is the first time we're adding something that I would consider a possible in-game activity that doesn't require you to be on a gear treadmill, right? This is something you can do in the world of Warcraft that isn't some, turning a piece of gear from 600 to 610. But what have I always told you about retail? The problem with retail is that it's all systems and instances. You don't feel like you're in the world of Warcraft anymore. And when you are out in the world, it feels empty and alone. And if you ever play the classic servers, especially when they're launching, versus something like a retail launch, the difference is unbelievable. There's a lot of things that play into that problem. It's not just in-game systems, but that's definitely a part of it. I'm just going to highlight some of the stuff from this article. It's down in the description if you want to read it all for yourself, but just some of the stuff that stood out to me. The first thing that really encouraged me and makes me feel like they're bringing this feature in on the right foot is when you see them identify and what they want it to become for the World of Warcraft community. And the second one here, deeply social. So you'll see a lot of criticisms about player housing we already tried that with garrisons and it didn't work. And let's be honest about garrisons. On the one hand, I thought garrisons were awesome. Absolutely awesome, and how you could customize and build your own thing. The other part of it is everybody basically went into their own garrison instance, right? And then the world got smaller. Sometimes just two things are true. Garrisons were awesome in a lot of ways, but they had some negative impacts on the community. But they've correctly identified that, and we're trying to move into a place where we get more of the pros and less of the cons. So right away, we understand that we're going to have to use some technology, some phasing and all that stuff to make this social and make this an interactive thing. And the key thing is you got to be able to bring people into your house, and not just people that are in a party or a group, but people walking by ought to be able to check your stuff out. This concept art, just look at this. This is incredible. This is incredible. And it's going to be so much fun. One of the things I always want to point out, and I'd like to point out to you guys, is that, I know a lot of people that you hear from, all they do is, the only thing they are is negative. And I'm negative about things. I think you guys know I can really fire up a rant train in no time on some particular issues. I could fire one up right now, but I'm trying to stay on topic. However, I also like to talk about the good things. I like to balance out the negative stuff with the things I'm excited about. I have to tell you, I think this player housing could truly become an awesome in-game system. It's how many people will be more than happy to come into the World of Warcraft, do some fishing, go into their house, set up their decorations, plant in their garden. I mean, come on, folks. How many of you loved your Mist of Pandaria farms? How many of you loved the garrisons? How many of you just loved all these little features? And this has the potential to be a combination of all those things while also being deeply social. Let me just offer another perspective here when it comes to Blizzard screwing this up. Good. Let them, because it's going to be an evergreen feature and we want to get this ironed out. They said that they're going to start it in a few zones at first and just branch out from there. And that's exactly what we need to do. Okay, this technology moving forward, when you think about things like a neighborhood, you just think, oh, me and all my guildies could live in the same house, and that's part of it. But think into the future. I mean, you could have these neighborhoods could very well just be tribes, right? And you look at this concept art where they put all these horde shitholes and pig pens all over the side of the mountains, and it kind of ruins it because it's so ugly and nasty and disgusting. But think about if this was a noble alliance faction, and this was the base of a Wildhammer clan out in Arathi Highlands. There is just going to be a ton of opportunities as this technology advances and develops to really bring the world to life with things like this. So we need this. So everybody that's being all negative, like it's going to suck and Blizzard sucks and da-da-da. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Okay, the whole point of an MMO is to be in a world with massive amounts of other players. This is desperately needed to enhance the experience moving forward and offers huge potential for those of us who love to be out in the world, love to be a part of it, love to have a theme going on. I mean, this is just going to be amazing. So even if it's going to suck at first, let it suck. Let it come in. Let's try it out. Let's work out the kinks. Let's let them play with the technology. You've got to allow this feature to breathe for a little bit so that we can iron out the kinks so that it can become what it needs to be. And this could be the next step in the World of Warcraft, is developing zones with you and your guildmates or your faction or your clan. I mean, it could have storytelling implications. Just talking about this feature and looking at all the concept art makes my imagination soar. I mean, just soar the amount of possibilities that this could bring into the game. Bring it into the sandbox. Let us all get our hands on it, sculpt it, work with it, break it, and let's just keep redoing it because it will eventually turn into something awesome. I see a lot of toxicity out there regarding World of Warcraft and people talking about how toxic the World of Warcraft community is or how it's full of degenerates and it's awful. And I just think that is such bullshit. You know what I think? I think a lot of these streamers have a toxic community, and I think they have a toxic attitude, and they just bring their little shit bags with them everywhere they go. So that's all you see because you surround yourself with losers, and then you complain about there being losers everywhere. But when I'm out here filming videos and I'm interacting with the WoW community, I have positive interactions almost exclusively. I have interactions all the time with people who are just asking, and they come up to me like, what are you doing out here, dude? Are you just like farming mounts? And I'm like, no, I'm actually making a YouTube video. And they're like, that's awesome. If you're running around and all you're running into is toxic losers, I think that's more about the people you're playing with. And I think it says more about you than it does the actual community. Because the community I've engaged with for the past 20 years isn't like that at all. This could be a whole new era of MMO experience. I know people are like, dude, there's been housing in other games. I know that, but I'm excited for Blizzard to get their paws on this because it's the World of Warcraft, it's the Blizzard art team, and how much I've loved the Pandaria farms, the garrisons, and all, dude, all of it coming together and my own plot out in Elwyn or something. I'm stoked. I am absolutely stoked. I think this is going to be great. Another criticism I've seen a lot is that even if it is awesome, Blizzard's going to ruin it with monetization. People are always like, they put all the good stuff on the cash shop. How much money would they have made by putting the tier 2 reskins, the anniversary reskins of the tier 2 sets on the cash shop instead of giving them out? How much money, how many people would have bought Paladin tier 2? Every Paladin I know is still wearing it. Okay, and that's just Paladins alone. How much money would they have made? And when I look at the Paladin sets, like the Paladin leveling set, I am not making a connection anywhere where all the good transmog stuff or all the good mounts are on the cash shop. There's some cool stuff on the cash shop, but there is most certainly plenty of awesome stuff that you can get in the game. And it's been $15 a month for 20 years. They got bills to pay. They're here to make money. And so there's two ways to do that. We can either increase the sub fee, which I think it's impressive that they haven't, or we can have a cash shop. And people are like, they shouldn't have a cash shop for a game you sub to. That's just, I think, not a realistic picture of the world we live in anymore. Because it's quite clear that there are people willing to spend millions of dollars for things like auction house mounts. Even those of you who don't support that system or don't like the cash shop, we all benefit from people spending their money on that. If I pay a sub, I shouldn't have a cash shop. And if we're going to have a cash shop, we shouldn't have a sub. I think that is a gross underestimation of the realities of the business model today. And honestly, I think it's a gross underestimation of World of Warcraft's potential. I mean, World of Warcraft is one of the few games that can charge $15 a month and have a cash shop. Look how many MMOs throughout history have tried to get up and running, and they can't even maintain a subscription fee. They have to go free to play within a year or two just so that they can maintain some community. Then they hit you with the cash shop. And when you think about bringing this feature in and really improving the experience in the world of Warcraft and drawing people back out to interacting in that world, I think the future is bright. And I think this is a very good sign for the future of World of Warcraft. And look, this is coming from someone that I'm not real happy with the War Within expansion. I'm not real excited about the current trilogy, to be honest. But this is a great moment to try these new things because what we want to do is we want to have a whole bunch of cool tools and arrows in our quiver to pull from when it's time to really build or redo the World of Warcraft and take us back into that old World of Warcraft that I'm always hoping we're going to go back to, could bring it alive in a way that make an amazing game. This is going to be an absolute blockbuster feature. It's going to be awesome. Will it be awesome right away? I don't know. But let's give Blizzard some room here. Let's encourage this. Let's be supportive. Let's try it out. And let's just screw it up until we get it right. And I'm excited for it. I mean, like I said, the concept art alone gets me jazzed up, and I can start running around Elwyn or, running around the world and thinking, God, they could put a plot out here. I mean, I'm calling dibs right now. If they ever put plots of land out in Grizzly Hills, I get one. Okay, I'm going to have a fishing shack out in Grizzly Hills, and it's going to be awesome. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and call dibs on the Bouquet Corral name. And we're going to have a giant neighborhood, and I'm going to get you guys out there, and we're going to fish. We'll get some of those cannons from the Dark Moon Fair that shoot you out in the water and shit. We're going to have an awesome man camp. The only problem I'm struggling with is, what am I doing for my house here? Am I going with like a classic Paladin theme? Or do we go with more like of a Lightforge thing? I mean, you could have a Lightforge neighborhood. I mean, the possibilities here are so freaking exciting. I mean, it just gives me goosebumps thinking about it. We'll see how it all plays out, and I'll keep you all posted. Still waiting for that Undermine patch, but it looks like it's not going to come out for a few more weeks, so we're all kind of waiting in the wings. Until then, keep kicking ass and having fun, Oklahoma gang. Oklahoma out.